Hello, everyone. My name is Greg Barnhill, and I will be your lecture instructor of record for this class. A lot has happened in this past week when we were about to get started. There's a worldwide pandemic going on, and people are self-isolating, and you are sort of self-quarantining in a lot of areas, which is a good thing. And so as a result, this class is going to be online. It would have been Pirate Patch. I was going to do a little different format than in years past with the Pirate Patch, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do instead, I will make you videos every week. They're going to be short. I'm not necessarily going to cover every single thing in your outline, but if you will, after this little introduction, I'm going to go through the class and show you how the grades are going to be calculated, show you where to find everything. Biology can be a difficult subject. This one happens to be the biology for non-science majors. And my goal would be that you get something out of this, like what's going on right now with the viruses and everything. We get to talk about that kind of stuff. And there are things that are going on right now that I've never been around before, this quarantining and that nature. I mean, there are a lot of things we could have talked about. It's been pretty cool, actually. But anyway, yeah, I don't want you to be nervous. There are some parts of this class that get really detailed, but we're going to go through it together. I don't want you to be worried about it. Like I said, this is more of a learning thing for me as far as you taking this course. Like I said, if you're listening to the news, which even that's changed a lot. But if you're watching movies or TV shows and they start talking about a science subject, I'd like you to be able to go, okay, well, I heard about that. We covered that in my biology course. So this is more of just an information. This is not meant to be eliminate anybody. And as long as you put forth a good effort, you'll be fine. So without further ado, I'm going to go through and show you all the parts of this class and what you can do to get started. Okay, well, we are in the course shell at this point, and here's our opening page, biological concepts, a little bit about the course description, and then here are the tab locations if you want to go to those. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the module page, and first thing I'm going to click on, the course overview, gives you a little bit about the class. These are called student learning outcomes, and they're based on what we're going to be covering with this course. And here are your assignments, and that's really what my goal is with this particular video. I gave you an introduction, and then here are all the grades involved with this class. You are going to have 2 discussion questions a week. You do have a quiz each week that you're going to take. It's a timed quiz. They're not very big, they're short, about 20 questions. You do have an assignment that is called homework, and you do have a lab experiment. If you took a biology course at a university, you would have a lecture component, and then you'd go to lab and you would do experiments. In our case, we're going to be doing these experiments through websites. And then a final exam is a comprehensive final exam over the whole class. So I'm going to go back up here, and then, like I said, here's some of the things you do. You need Microsoft Word or some way to create a document in this course. But I'm going to go back up here again. I'm just going to click on the module page again. Assignment and grading. Here are all the grades I just went through. It's on a point system. I usually use a percentage, but I'm going to stay with what was set up here. These are the points involved with each. Well, these are total points. These are what each one is worth. There's a grading scale. As far as the late submission policy, if you'll let me know what's going on, I'll work with you. The only time it becomes an issue, you do have to take points off for things that are late. But at the very end of the course, there's not much of a late submission policy. There's a point where the grades are due, and at that point, you can't go beyond that. So I'm going to go back. Textbooks and materials. Now, I made a video for these bonus lessons, I'm calling them. They're basically an online textbook. They're interactive lessons. They have videos. They have questions you can do. Like I said here, I give you detailed information. This is a textbook that's being used. Textbooks, for me, I try to keep the cost down as much as possible. I give you a ton of information about this class, and we'll be doing videos and that such. But yeah, I labeled it as optional. Okay, and well, our schedule. I'll let you just look through this. We are covering a little bit of biological chemistry, atoms this week. As far as my office hours go, if you need to get a hold of me, there's my email for Park. My Howard College email goes right to my phone, and then you can text me if you need something. I don't give that number out at my other job, but I don't mind doing that with Park. All right, and then when you get a chance, okay, you are going to have, this is called an Adobe Flash Player. I cannot write. I can do a little bit of coding, barely. Where I was going with this is these Flash players are going away December 31st, 2020. But if your computer doesn't have one of these, you need these to view the videos and things we're going to be doing for the lab, and some for lecture, and some for the lesson. So if you don't have this, if you can't view something, you need to download it. And I actually made another video here that you have to use either Google Chrome or use Mozilla Firefox. Those browsers for this course. The Microsoft or Safari, don't use those. They don't handle these big learning management systems well, but there's a video there on how to enable your Flash if you still can't see it after you download it. Okay, so you can't see this yet. This is going to be the units. There are 8 of these. Here's an overview, a little bit about what we're covering. You can read through this. I actually cover this with you in some videos. If you go back, there is some more reading here. Okay, well, a little different pictures, but there's a little bit more about the water and everything. Water's a pretty amazing fluid. Here's some about the 4 categories of a protein. So it's something that you can read through. It's about a page long. Any class that I teach, we use outlines. It helps keep me going, keep you going. Your information is broken down. It's like an outline format. This is what you would look at to study for your exam, your little quiz you're going to take. So I've made videos that go through most of this. I didn't do every single part, but I did 90% of it. You have 2 PowerPoints. There's the Flash download again. But here's the divider for the assignments. You have 2 discussions. You have a lab experiment. And then here's the homework I was telling you about. And there's the quiz. And this down here is a bonus. Now, there's going to be a video right above this. I went through and showed you these lessons. If you do them, they're completely a bonus. I'll give you an extra 10 points on your quiz if you do them. They do have questions involved. The first lesson has 3 questions that will not show up. Once again, it has to do with this Flash thing that's going away. And the LMS that we're using doesn't, in this program, say the Flash player and thing are going away. There's 3 questions on here you can't see. Just answer the other 22. There's 25 questions. Just answer the other 22. But it'd be great practice for your quiz because you can actually do these questions over and over again. They're interactive. They're not really for a grade, but if you do it and you send me at the end, it shows you how to do that. If you send me the email that you completed it, I'll give you 10 points on your quiz. For instance, let me just give you an example. Here's our first discussion. You have like the same standard introduction. You need to have this done by Wednesday. Now, what I'm going to do this first week, I know it says Wednesday. I'm actually going to give you an extra week because this was going to be a face-to-face. So this first week's material is not due till next week. I'm going to give you 2 weeks to complete the first week. After that, it'll just be 1 week at a time, and I'll give you a little bit of an early start each time. I'll open up the units early so you can get an early start. But this one has to do with plagiarism. So you're going to have to read through these paragraphs, and it's going to ask you here to explain, do you think it's plagiarism, and to give an example why. And the second part of this discussion is to give an example of a chemical bond that is covered in our section. And I made a video on those chemical bonds. So, and here's the grading rubric. If you do a good job, don't just copy and paste something off the internet, put some thought into it. You don't have to write a dissertation, just be very thorough in your answers. And That's what the discussions are going to be. Right here, the assignment. Explain the following types of, okay, how they are formed, to give an example of each. This one has to do with the pH scale. Made a video about that. The 4 categories of macromolecules. I made a video about that as well. All these videos, I tried to keep them at 10 minutes or shorter. The one on the 4 categories of macromolecules, that one actually went about 15 minutes. So most of them will be very short. This one, the denaturing of a protein, which means you alter its shape, and it's usually due to high acidity, high alkalinity. I did talk about that. And then some differences between DNA and RNA. So you would type this stuff out on a Word document, and you'll have a little submission button up here to submit it. I'm looking at it right now. Your unit's not open, so I'm just this is in my view, but anyway, it'll be right up here. You can submit it. Now, on the lab experiment, here's the answer sheet you're going to use. See, once you click on it, see, it's going to open up. And I did make a video on, it was from a previous class, but it was the first 2 experiments. But this is what you're going to put your answers on. You're going to save this to the computer, and then you're going to go through and you're going to go on the websites that are listed here, and you're going to conduct the experiments. All right, and I made a video about that, so it's on the page. But here's the first one. Look, so this one right here. Now this is where you have to have your flash player. So I'm going to control click. It may take a minute. Yeah, see, it says this plugin is vulnerable, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it means I have the flash plugin. But this is actually using the scientific method. Now, you're going to be in your lab sheet, it says to do this on certain settings, and you're trying to get optimal efficiency at creating compost. And then you hit this little thing here. I have no idea what I set. Oh, okay. Well, I almost spiked the meter. See the rating here, it says high, medium, or low. You're going to record your values that you use, and then you just reset it. I'm going to exit out of this. Okay, here's the other one. This is really cool. It's too bad these things are going to go away. They're going to come out with a different format because these are all flash items. Ooh. This is, if you ever heard of pH paper, and then here is battery acid vinegar, and you're going to take the paper like that, and then you're going to dip it in. There we go. And you're going to record what you're doing here, and you record, and see on here it tells you the pH. Like this one's, it looks like it's between these two. Yeah, battery acid is probably a 1. So in fact, I would guess this one, but you're going to record those values on your lab sheet. And then the last one is really more of a video. Just watch it. This was a flash item, and they put it on YouTube. So they actually click on the things for you, and then you're going to answer your questions. And all the questions are on your lab sheet, the one that on this one. See, this one's asking you fill in the values for your compost and what was the rating. And I believe the very last one, it asks you to figure out which one produces the most efficient one. Where is it? Yeah, what settings on the compost produce the most efficient rating? You have to play around with that. So read through this, follow the instructions. You can email me if you need to. This should be down one more, but here are the things you're going to write your values into, and just read through everything. It's pretty self-explanatory. The last one here is that video I was telling you about. And you can control, click on that as well. It should take you there. Yeah, there it goes. This one, and you hit play, it'll start talking.
A buffer is an aqueous solution.
Anyway, so that's going to be your lab. And like I said, you have 2 weeks to do this stuff. Your quiz is, like it says here, it's 20 questions. You have 60 minutes, 1 point each. You only have one try at it, so do your best. And that's the same format. Well, that's going to be your format each week. You're going to do these two. There's the video for the lab lesson. There'll be a video above this one as well when you log on. But that's everything. So I'll get back with you later. And like I said, each week I'll open these units early. This first unit, I'll change the dates. They're not due for 2 weeks. Okay? So email me if you have questions, and you can go ahead and you can get started tomorrow.